misses.
Not many people in the pool world that don't know this, but just in case you don't, and it's worth mentioning many times. He broke the greatest record in pool that's ever been held. Just a short time ago, he broke Willie Mosconi's record by running 626 balls. It's a world record. It'll probably never be exceeded except by this gentleman. We've now changed his name from Mr. 400 to Mr. 626, sponsored by Easy Street Billiards. Please welcome John Schmidt. All right, gentlemen, come on out here and lag for the break if you would. Go ahead and lag if you would, and I'm going to send it upstairs to the commentary booth to Mark Wilson. Go ahead, Mark, take it away.
Welcome, pool fans, to the second annual International Open here in Norfolk, Virginia. This week's festivities kicks off with two teammates from the Mosconi Cup, best friends, John Schmidt, Justin Bergman. Today with me, we have our special guest, Jason Sword. Jason, a pool player, promoter from New Albany, Indiana. And Jason, how do you see this one going?
I think it's going to be a tight match, Mark. Two great players, two good friends, like you said. I think it's probably going to come down to the break.
And first match on the TV table, there's always some extra jitters and things of that nature. I think that plays into what you said about being close.
Oh, yeah, some extra slides. So you'll see the cue ball do some things that they don't expect, I'm sure.
Bergman's won the lag. This is a race to 11. They're playing a three-point rule. The 9 does count on the break. Should he make it? Is it rimmed the pocket? And, okay, a non-compliant break has been called. There's a three-point rule just for everyone's education, which means 3 balls must cross the head string. The options then, if failing to do so in a non-compliant break situation, is that John Schmidt can play from here or he can force Justin Bergman to play from here. There is no push-out in that circumstance. Schmidt rolled in a nice long 1 ball.
Going to be tough here, Marco.
He hit it pretty nice. The the table's just a little quicker than he anticipated because he did not hit it very hard, but you can see how much travel on the Simona's cloth. That's real slick.
And also something to add to your 3-point rule. I think the rule would change this year if they make 2 balls. It's a legal break no matter what, right?
Correct, right. So Schmidt opted for a safety. He did not get the 2 ball away from the rail. He did do a pretty good job tucking the cue ball behind the 4.
I can't tell. It looks like he may go to the short stick here, Mark.
Yeah.
A lot of distance between the cue ball and the 4 ball, so it's going to have to get a lot of lift here.
You have to launch this so hard. Sometimes if you don't land perfect on the 2, you can knock the cue ball on the floor too. A lot of elevation. The big key here is follow through. Oh, hit it nicely.
Might get away with this.
Oh, this is that shot. I don't know if we can get a chance to show it. Yeah. You want to go super soft, 2 cushions. Like this, and then that cue ball just filters out here. That's the Efren Reyes play right there. 2 cushions, not 1. Little hard. Beautiful shot, though. Great nice execution. Shot. Wow. Yeah, tremendous shot. That's the difference of a great player from elite players, is that they recognize those little circumstances and nuances like that and try to. A safety's not designed to win. This is safety's designed to get yourself back to the table one more time with the hopes of maybe a better arrangement of the balls.
And I'll tell you, Justin Bergman's no stranger to a safety battle. I think his biggest strength in my mind is safety battles, 10 ball.
And truthfully, I think he's better off to play Schmidt's shot, the cushion kick, rather than go right at it here, because it's going to be hard to get separation here. and tuck the cue ball away.
Yeah.
Oh, good execution. If he gets the 5 in the way, maybe, maybe not. But that was the problem. When you have to move both balls on the table that much distance, boy, no matter how good you are, it's really easy to have something go awry.
It's like the 2-ball may squeeze by there, Mark. He let up. Whew.
That's pocket speed right there. Brand new cloth. Good shot. And just like you said, Jason, it was probably only half a pocket there. So that's why he chose that speed. Slight elevation here. Schmidt hit that good. The person that wins the very first rack of a race to 11 goes on to win the match 56% of the time. So that first rack's a pretty big deal.
Pretty big.
John Schmidt, 46 years old. And I would say he's right in his playing prime.
Yeah, he looks very confident today. So, sometimes you can see when these players aren't fully in stroke, and I would say that high run of straight pulls kind of got him confident in his stroke, and he's been practicing a lot more than normal.
Mm-hmm. If we had a replay on that shot, you would see John's cue definitely steer to the left, the extreme left, like he was trying to guide the object ball, and that cost him the shot. Because when we visually witness that, the damage has already been done. You just have to miss a microdot on the cue ball, and then by the time it travels to the object ball, it's expanded. This is a testy little cut for Bergman here, and I'm telling you, this is a tough shot early in the match. Once you get out there into the match where you're loose, it's not nearly as bad. Good speed. Good speed. That sort of figures to be Justin's forte, don't you think? That guiding, gliding balls into the pocket from odd angles like that. He's always been kind of a tactical.
Yeah, he's very tactical and very smart player, and he knows how to pocket balls. It seems like there's some players that shoot straight, and then there's other players that the pocket just accepts their ball, and Bergman's definitely that. He shoots straight, and the pockets just gobble his ball up.
This is one of those off-angle things. If you go in the corner, it's weird to hold the cue ball, and if you go in the side, you have to two-cushion the cue ball, so it's kind of one of those weird plays. Super soft, just glide it in, maintain the angle. Now, you've had a lot of experience, and you've supported Justin in his play along the way, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm one of Justin Bergman's biggest fans. I've seen him an absolute dead punch, and I don't think there's anybody can beat him after the break whenever he's playing his best. But I think it's no secret that he's always struggled with the break shot, which, nowadays is a big, big portion of the game.
Well, this is the portion of the game that he figures to have an edge in. With Schmidt, I would think, is in the management of the balls like this, where he can control, because this is even a fairly severe angle, but he'll make a good judgment on this, whether to go up and down and try to hold it. Ken Schumann's on the scene looking for any ball foul. He's bridging over the 9. Beautiful. He did not let up on his stroke. He just played the 9 in the side pocket.
I'll tell you, my favorite thing about Justin Bergman, Mark, is that a lot of players, you'll hear them say, oh, he plays slow, or, he's not a speedy player. He takes care of all the small things about pool. So if you're going to put your money up, you want to do it with a guy that's going to take care of the small things. He never takes any shot for granted. He always stays on the right angle. And for me, if I'm going to send somebody to a tournament, I'm going to fly them somewhere, pay for their hotel, their food, you have to have somebody that's going to take care of the small things, and Justin Bergman always does that.
Mm-hmm. Bergman captures the first game, leads the match now 1-0. Schmidt looked up here and shook his head because he knows what he did there, and he kind of let that, after Schmidt's great opening shot to glide that 2-ball down past that object ball.
Right.
So Justin made a slight safety error, and Schmidt cashed it in with making a ball, but then failed to run out the rack.
Justin's switching to the break cue here. He broke with his playing cue the first go around, so non-compliant. We'll see what he does. So he may switching sides as well, Mark.
Track 2. Justin breaks. 1-0.
Playing the 1 in the side.
Oh.
The cue ball got away. Okay, so Schmidt did not have to make the ultimate payment on that error that he made. These great players, they break and run out 30% of the time. So when you make an unforced error, the guy not only wins that game a lot of times, but a third of the next games, and then you're playing safe and kicking for your life when you come back, so it can quickly morph into 3 or 4 games.
Be interesting to see how John bounces back here after that missed opportunity in the first rack, if he can keep it together. This definitely looks like a nice rack to get his confidence back.
Right. Something to be aware of is that when you play with a brand new set of balls, because they have not been used, and you recognize brand new Simonis is going to be super fast, with brand new balls, if you could look at them under a microscope, the luster is not scuffed up at all. You can't see it with your eye. And so they haven't been on the floor or chipped around, and the chalk is just an abrasive, so the luster on the ball is extreme. So when you think it's fast, it still goes 10% faster just because there's less friction as the ball rolls over. When the balls are used, even though they're polished, 10% slower. Schmidt going with left English, spun it out around. Good shot there.
Yeah, making sure to avoid the side pocket there.
And he does not want to freeze the cue ball to the cushion. He wants to leave a little leeway there. Good job. Now this makes the rest of the rack play much simpler for him. He doesn't have to struggle. And just like you said, Jason, that was a great rack to get his confidence back. A wide open rack, and he cruised through there. He never got himself in trouble. He didn't have to make a hard shot. That was good pattern play. Our score is now 1-1.
You notice John grabbed his neck after he ran out there like it was a little bit of a struggle for him. You know, that first rack is always under the bright lights. You have all the fans, and then, you know, you have us up here commentating, talking about it, and you miss the ball first rack. So
Yep.
that was a big relief for John there, I believe.
And especially staying in line, that emboldens you. If you have to scramble through the rack, now you're still feeling a little iffy, like I'm kind of doggish here, you know, but when you have ball in hand, you fully expect and hope to cruise through the rack and not have to burn up a bunch of energy to win that first game. Both players are on the scoreboard now. This is a race to 11.
I think we're going to see a lot of experimenting with the break here early, Mark. And you know, you hear a lot of chatter around the scene from, you know, everybody's trying to figure out the break.
Right. They are using a break box, 9 inches either side of the head spot.
3 breaks. 1-1.
Schmidt going with the cut break. He doesn't want the cue ball to get loose. It did. The one draw dropped in the side. That's the one they play for.
Nothing past the head, though.
Non-compliant
break. So that means Justin can play from here or he can pass. He cannot push out.
This is pretty tough here, Mark. Look at the 3 ball buried there and jacked up over the 7. Obviously, he's not going to pass, but...
Right. So he's looking at how he can play safe. I don't think he's going to be aggressive here because he's elevated over that 7 ball.
He has that 4-6 over there. It looks like he could use as some kind of blocker if he could get the cue ball over there somehow.
He did go offense, and look at, he would have had position. Well, doesn't look like he's going to have to pay the big price. I think Schmidt can clip the edge of the 2, but I don't think he's sold out. for behind the 6 and the 4. No.
Looks like Justin might try to take the cue ball right back where it is. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, 3 cushions around into the 5 and 6 would be a beautiful play, because that way he can get the cue ball buried. That looks to be pretty good. That 8 ball later in the rack plays tough too because of the location right on the rail near the side pocket. Anytime there's balls on the long rail near the side pocket, those are the toughest ones to get positioned on.
I guess it helps out a little bit that the 7's close in proximity, but you're right, he can shoot it. If he comes short side, he's got to shoot it past the side pocket, which makes it tough. Yeah.
Nice 2-rail kick. Those 2-rail kicks on brand new cloth are very treacherous because it's so slippery. You can actually look bad, and that's always one of the things my players, whenever we have new cloth, I make them practice 2-rail kicks, because even with expert players, I'm talking Shane Van Boning speed, you can miss by more than a diamond, where if the cloth is broke in, they don't on the 2-rail kicks.
Right.
Yeah, they're still pretty good on the 1-rail kicks, but the 2-rail kicks are really, really odd. That one played better because you go short rail, long rail, but when you go long rail, short rail, that's the ones that you can really miss out in the middle of the table and look bad on. It's just because the cloth's not broke in. Justin's choosing to top spin into the side pocket here, get up by the close to the 3.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It was just that awkward. He needed to get there, and you don't very often see balls missed with ball in hand, but that was one that I really can't even be critical of that. It was not because he wasn't attentive. Both players now with a pretty dramatic unforced error.
This looks pretty awkward here, too. You had to go rail first. Nice shot from John Schmidt.
Pocket speed, yeah, well played. Nice little angle there, so we can leave the 5 ball into the side pocket, just bounce out 1 cushion. Schmidt, very light grip on the cue.
I was really surprised to see that he chose that angle, though. He could have just floated up off the 4 ball with a little bit of follow and had the correct angle for the 5 just to come straight over for the 6.
John Schmidt now on the 6. Good angle there. He made that look easy. He had to float that over there. Now he wants to hold it, and he has to shoot that side past the side pocket. Players hate this shot. I'll promise you, under pressure, and this is a big game here, early goings. Killed it pretty nicely there, Jason.
Yeah, and it helps that he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball here, Mark.
Super.
Just make the ball.
Super important. It's not just that easy. Head still, and he cannot get that quick transition from backswing to foreswing. There's no forgiveness on this shot. Handled it smooth. You can see he's shaking his head. Now you cannot have a letdown on this shot either. It looks like it should be simple, but you can actually miss that ball, if you have any kind of halfway approach to it. Schmidt now takes advantage of the unforced error. Bergman missing with ball in hand. Our score 2-1, Schmidt.
Interesting fact about a diamond pool table, Mark, is that no matter how tight the corner pockets are, the side pocket cuts are always the same. Mm-hmm. So you can have a table that is 4 1/8, standard from Diamond's factory, and the side pocket is still the standard cut, just like it would be on a 4 1/2. So,
like to send a shout out to some of our great listeners. They're out there. Chris Castell up in the Quad Cities. Thanks for joining us. Chris Salvo, St. Louis, former Lindenwood star. April Larson and the Lindenwood Billiards team listening in. And all the way over in Fairview Heights, where Justin Bergman hails from, we got the crusher, Jim Comley, tuned in.
See how John changes up here. He had a non-compliant break last time, 0 balls passing the head string. He was successful in cutting the 1 ball, but didn't get much movement from any other ball out of the pack.
This will be a compliant break.
Like he spun the wing ball in there, Mark.
Well, John's looking at possibly going rail first. So this would be like he's just going to chip the 1 ball back down the long rail, like a 1 pocket safety, and the rail slipped a little bit. He meant to hit the thin side on the other side of the 1.
Doesn't look like he's left Justin anything offensive here.
It'd be pretty risky.
I think he'll try to take the cue ball to the 4, the back of the 4 here.
Well, the speed with that means the 1 ball would have to come back across the table. I don't know. He might rub the 1. Or he might, he's going to play the 1 back across and over the top of the 2 and try to bring the cue ball between the 7 and 4.
He's going to the back of the 4. A nice shot.
Yeah, that was. And that was another one of those shots where you have to handle both balls' speed. And you try to refrain from that just because it's so dangerous, even with highly skilled players. So they try to control totally, stopping the object ball or stopping the cue ball. There he had to move both of them. Schmidt's elevating. Had to warp it in there short. The cloth did not grab as much as he thought.
So the safety battle, Justin wins again. Let's see if he can capitalize here, Mark. Last game he received ball in hand off of a nice safety play, and John kicked 2 rails and scratched in the side. So a failed kick here. Let's see if Justin can take care of business this time.
The 4 and the 7 is the tricky part. It's not a wide open, straightforward layout because controlling that 4 ball off the 7, if you have to play the combination, gets quite tricky. And the 5 it has a pocket. It's just not generous.
He's going to play above the 2, and he's going to come short side on the 4. I think maybe not. He's looking at the combo again.
And that would be the economy of cue ball travel, but it's controlling that secondary object ball, the 4, after it hits the 7. That would be the problem. And now he goes over to look at the short side position. I think, is he drawing back? No?
Yeah, I think he's going to end up going, nope.
He's playing the combo.
Surprising.
Now, do you see the little angle he played right there? That was by design, not by random chance. And what that does is allows the cue ball to come to the center of the table and let the 4 ball drift up. Or if you get the other angle there, this combination really, it doesn't play any harder, but position is way harder. So that's a pretty heady play there by a very experienced player to put the cue ball on this angle. Beautiful. Beautiful execution, well thought out. And that's the little nuances that makes Justin Bergman right there. That ball control, the ball management.
And you see what he's doing right now. The one thing that I love watching about Justin Bergman is his body tells you exactly what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you almost don't even need us up here in the booth to talk about what he's going to do. He shows you what he's going to do. He goes right to where he wants to be, makes sure he's on the line. You'll hear some people say he's a boring player, but if you actually spend some time watching Justin Bergman, personally, he's one of my favorite to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people refer to him as slow. I only think somebody's slow whenever they move slow or they're doing things that aren't helping what they're trying to accomplish. With him, he's slow when he needs to be, but then when it's open and he doesn't need to do anything, he's a fast player, actually.
The people that say that also do not understand the little things that we're talking about, and that's why, you know, and then the fact that he makes long runs, long progressions of balls makes him seem slower. It's because he's not up there missing and hacking it around, so he tends to stay at the table longer. Now, he drew back purposely to try to get over the side pocket. He knew the cue ball was going to filter onto the rail, and so this way it allows him to get a little lower on the cue ball because that rail is not in the way because he's over the pocket. Now he's just going to roll this in, nothing cute, and play it across the table and just cut the 8 in. It was just too tough, too treacherous to try to get down low. So now it's just going to be a test of shot making.
Yeah, and there's no reason, you know, with the bright lights and the brand new polished balls with the brand new cloth. I mean, he knows he has a big margin for error at this angle as well, Mark.
This is just management. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's his second unforced error. That hurts. That was because he did everything right there till he missed that 8 ball.
Got a little quick on that. Maybe hit it a little firm.
Nice speed there. That hanging ball from the angle that John started at is not that easy to get the cue ball where he has it right now. So Schmidt glides the cue ball into the 9 ball into the pocket. He now leads 3-1.
Yeah, two very uncharacteristic misses by Justin Bergman. I'll tell you, Mark, this is a good story about Justin. The reason why I started wanting to be around Justin and talking to him at the time, I was staking Sky Woodward, and we were traveling around to your local bar table tournaments and just around the Midwest, and he kept losing to Justin Bergman.
Yeah.
And I promise you, Mark, I went to 9 tournaments in a row, and I never saw Justin miss a ball.
Yeah.
Not one ball.
Yeah.
And I said, this is unbelievable, this guy. He never misses a ball. So, obviously him and Sky are good buddies. So, I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Justin, and, he's a great guy off the table as well.
Yeah. I have implicit faith in Justin. Known him since he was about 10 or 11. And he'd play a league match. He could beat the old gray bearded guys. And then once in a while someone would beat him a game, and I'd look at him and there'd be one tear coming down when he was 11. That's how much he cared.
Oh, yeah, he cares.
Yeah. All right, Schmidt here, breaking rack number 5, leading 3-1. Cue ball got away. He made a ball, and 2 balls have crossed the head string.
Tell you what, the art of the push out has changed quite a bit over the recent years with the players becoming so proficient with the jump cues. It's kind of changed the strategy quite a bit.
That was a heady play there. Schmidt purposely tried to tie the 5 up on the 4, and the whole idea on the push out is that you're the underdog, so you want to prolong the rack. So if you ever push out and the other guy takes it and runs out, it was a terrible push out. If you get yourself back to the table one time from the push out at any point in the rack, it was a good push out. Justin played this take the pace out of the cue ball by hitting heavy on the 2 and get separation, and got a blocker ball in there. That was a great shot.
Yeah, Justin, I would say I would give him an A+ on the way he's moving so far, but as far as his ball pocketing,
Right.
he's handed 2 racks to John.
I always kind of feel like this. I've won all the games. I've won 3 of John's and my own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that absolutely is the case with Justin right now. He's played 3 or 4 very nice safeties like this. This is tough.
Right.
John doesn't like this. I can guarantee it.
Well, because he's exposed to, he's got to do all he can to hit it. He can't play anything.
Right.
So, and Justin got him exposed. Schmidt couldn't have hit it any better, but nevertheless, Justin's still going to earn a pretty good shot on the 2 from that great safety that he played.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a different Justin Bergman from here on out, Mark. I promise you that he's going to take care of all the small things from here on out. I don't think we'll see too many more missed balls from that man.
That being said, it really hasn't been. It's just the characteristics of a brand new table, brand new match. You sometimes struggle to begin with, and I'm like you. Now he's kind of like a fighter that got hit a couple times. He's not going to quit. He's not going to give up, and I figure he's going to play good from here on in too. Look at how delicate that shot was, and he made it look easy.
The speed isn't bothering him at all. It seems like he's adjusted to it nicely.
He was a little boy one time when I went to his house, and he had a little 4x8 with maroon cloth, and his sister had dolls laying on there, and she would come running around the table, and I was trying to play him. I was on the pro tour at the time, and he's just ramming balls into the side from awkward angles and like running out on me, and like, who is this little brat? Like, yeah. So that it wasn't bad judgment. He just hit the wrong portion of the pocket to allow the cue ball to hit heavier into the 4. Well, now he's going to have to play safe again.
He's got quite a few blockers down here. He should manage to get a lot of distance and potential blocker.
I don't know.
Short.
Yeah. He did not make sure he got that 4 ball on the end rail. I think that would have been more beneficial than leaving the cue ball on the end rail.
This is still no bargain for John. This is full distance, awkward bridge.
Big shot here, though. This is a huge game in this set. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Oh, that got awkward.
Yeah, now he's up.
And now it's hard to hit it hard enough into a portion of the side pocket and get back across.
He may just take his medicine here, Mark, and just roll this ball in. I think that's a smart play.
Oh, good job.
But Mark, we've yet to see a break and run from either player. So
yeah, the break's been a little bit of a struggle, but primarily because the cue balls be getting in front of where the head ball rests. They'd be getting it down the end rail. Bergman scratched on one of his breaks, I believe. Win number 4 for John Schmidt. He leads the match 4-1.
John Schmidt shooting a 9-12, Mark.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty darn good.
Missed the 1 ball. Forget which ball it was. I think it was in the second rack.
Anything over 900 is world class. Yeah, really, the only mistake he made was when he swished his stick on a shot that you figure you'd certainly bet a large amount that he makes. You know,
yeah.
So. But that happens. So first match jitters and new table. You just have to be used to playing a little out of line, because it's not broke in, then you're going to be 10% off, and then that's uncomfortable and can compound itself against you. Look on, Schmidt, one ball found the side pocket. Compliant break or not?
No.
This means that Justin Bergman has the option, and we've seen this happen a number of times already in this set. I would say maybe there's only been one successful break.
Yeah. And then John failed to play a safe after it, but he didn't leave anything offensive. This is pretty awkward here, too.
I almost think Justin should bank the 2 down table and just let the cue ball go over to the 5. I mean, he's got the type of control that would allow that to go. Yeah.
Did exactly that.
There's no reason to be aggressive there and possibly risk yet another unforced error. You don't want to push yourself further behind by being too aggressive here. That was not the layout for it.
Yeah, he had a missable shot with a small window to get on the 3, so it was
Right.
definitely a wise decision. Left a pretty awkward kick here too, Mark.
On new cloth, you betcha. Super tough. I really wouldn't even fault John if he tried to tie something up and not go after it. Yeah. You were likely going to foul. You were never going to get separation anyway. Maybe you should try to tangle something up further.
I
there.
agree with you. And
That
it
being
looks,
said,
looks like the 7-9's laying pretty good.
Right.
I agree with you 100%. Maybe try to tie something up and extend the game.
You hate trying to tie something up and then have Justin, grab the cue ball in hand and then end up breaking it out and running out anyway. But you were not going to get separation on that because it was awkward. You jacked up over the 5, and then it wants to warp long on you because of the slick cloth.
And like you said, even if you make a successful hit, more than likely there's nowhere to hide. Oh, my.
Well, yeah, that was an unforced error, unusual miss. But this is what 4 3/8 pockets do to you, even with new cloth sometimes if you don't hit it just pure.
I'm really surprised by that miss, Mark.
Not an easy kick here. Oh, boy, he hit that good.
Oh, wow.
You just don't figure to bump that ball and have it not fall in. And he had position if it had gone in. Good shot there by Justin. Didn't look like much, but when it's that close to the object ball, very easy to double hit those or misgauge your speed.
Very fortunate break for Justin Bergman here to have a chance to capture this game. He come up on the wrong side of this?
Yep. Yeah, you could see by the look on his face, he was dissatisfied, but he wanted to make sure he got the 5 ball down, and I don't blame him for that. We can deal with the rest of this.
Does he just float this ball in and just take a cut on the combo?
I think he might play for the bank. No, he's going all the way down table. Great shot there. Good control and a better decision, too, than the bank. No. Not the easiest combination here off angle. And he rams it in there. 4-2. Justin's laughing, rubbing his eyes. He came out into this match a little bit sputtering.
And I believe that Justin got 5th place here last year, Mark. I think Skyler, when Skyler went on his little rampage where he's just slaughtering everybody, Skyler beat Federer, and then he beat Justin, and then he beat Shane. Just bang, 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 all within like an hour and a half. He just ran them over.
I added up the games for Skyler last year during that run, and it was, I want to say he won 66 games, and the opponents had less than 20 combined.
Yeah, I mean,
It was unbelievable.
I know I think he beat Federer 11-2, and then Justin 11-4.
And Shane in there, right?
Yeah, and then he beat Shane right after Justin.
Yeah, and by a pretty good margin. So I remember looking at that series of players that he beat by the scores. It was amazing.
Justin back to the playing cue.
All right. Non-compliant break unless 2 balls went in.
Nope.
Well, a little better job with the cue ball that time. And I'll tell you, this is the exact reason I detest the 3-point rule for breaking. Here he's made a good break, solid hit, and now the fans don't really nobody plays this way. I mean, it's absolutely preposterous. Boy, that's a nice shot there.
Very nice.
Schmidt made the most of that from long range. And now this is not that easy of a hit because it looks like Justin, I don't know if he can warp in behind the 7 and bounce it around, but you can miss this ball pretty easily doing this. I don't know if we can get a chance to get to the overhead. I'll show you, but he's got to dig down on the cue ball, extreme draw, and bend it around the 7. Or he's going above and going to try to go the other side of the 7. Looks like he's going to go with left English and try to warp it long soft. Yeah, that's good.
Oh.
Yeah, either way, it was right in that nether region where if you warp it behind it or you expand it on top of it like he did there, it becomes very missable. It just was not a natural angle to hit that kick, and that was a great safety play by John Schmidt, who now comes to the table, pretty wide open layout. This first shot is the key. Got to get good position on the 3. You cannot dog this part of it. Wow. He didn't mean to let the cue ball get that near the side pocket, I'll promise you. Because even with high-level pros, getting it that near from that angle, it's out of your control. At that point, it can scratch.
Yeah, not a lot of work left here, Mark. Everything pretty much plays right, dot to dot. Not saying that has to get out, and it's not still a little bit difficult, but it's not going to have to make the cue ball travel very much.
Likely just wants to get to the other side of the 9 ball here, one cushion. Not even fool with trying to play the 5-8 combination, but play the 5 in the corner. Well, he's digging down on it like that's not what he's going to do. No, he is going to play the combination. Well, this gets tricky.
I like your choice a lot more.
Yeah, this is because now if he goes soft speed, he can just one reel the cue ball back to the center and the 5 ball go over near the 9 or on that angle. Very easy to get the wrong side of this where you got to bring the cue ball back across the table after the 5 ball. No, he's billiarding it.
Oh, wow.
Safe.
Okay. Well, Justin did not have to pay the ultimate penalty now.
I think that was the judgment error. All the way around, I think he should have played the 5 in the corner, and then once he got on the combo, he should have played the combo as opposed to the carom.
Justin going to try to bring the cue ball in behind the 7. That's one decision. I think that's what he's looking at. Just rub he doesn't want to leave the 5 near the 8 either. He might put the 5 on the end rail, 2 cushions, and bring the cue ball all the way down behind the 6.
I like that.
If he can do it, yeah.
Got to miss the 7.
Is he going to get behind the 6?
I think he's got pretty good speed.
He didn't quite get there. It was an awkward shot, but this plays better than leaving the 6 or the 5 near the 8, because even if you get him hooked, there's so many ways he makes the ball from there when Schmidt kicks. Needs to keep his cue straight on line here. He cannot swish it. Yeah, he swished it a little bit. Kind of got that long, awkward angle here. This pocket plays snug from this direction at this speed. Oh, good.
Handled it nicely.
Yeah, he cinched it, knowing the eighth right over the pocket.
He's going to shoot over the template here.
And Schmidt pushes back out to a 3-game lead, 5 games to 2.
He just said he got lucky there, Mark.
Yeah. Lucky that Bergman didn't.
Well, he got lucky when he missed the carom that he didn't leave an offensive shot for Justin. And an awkward safe at that. But that being said, he still pocketed a nice 5-ball, halfway tough shot on the 7-ball. Tell you what, if either one of these guys want to make a run, they better figure their breaks out, because we haven't seen very many successful breaks from either chair.
What a tournament and what a field we have here. 96 elite players. 16% of the field came from Chinese Taipei.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I was eating breakfast this morning, and Kevin Chang was sitting next to me, and he said that there's 11 Taiwanese here. So
14
Taiwanese. There you go.
Yeah.
He leads 5-2.
Well, we have a compliant break, but nothing went.
I don't know if Justin can see the edge of the one.
Push.
Guess not.
John passes it back to Justin just because it's not an easy safety from here, and it's certainly not much of an offensive shot. It's like Justin's playing the cue ball. Trying to get the cue ball over there by the 7. One rail off the end rail, just cutting the 1 ball to his right. He might be playing offense. Soft speed? No. No, it's a speed. Yeah, that's that shot where you got to control both balls, and it is super dangerous.
Still a lot of traffic to get to the 2.
No, yeah, this would be a world-class run out to get out from this arrangement of balls. Got it. Gets the point, lodges up on the 3. I don't know that the cue ball passes directly to the 1. It does not appear that it does here. Good camera work. Oh, this is a really treacherous kick. I don't even see how you can kick. There's nothing obvious. You're going to have to manufacture some angles, and this is the time to think about taking a foul, an intentional foul.
I don't see what he can do, though. Do you mean maybe push the 7 down into the bottom of the 8 to where it doesn't go? I mean, there's not a whole lot of options for Justin here.
Oh, okay. This is an interesting kick here. He's going to try to warp it with inside and create an angle. 2 cushions. This is great try. Great try. Yeah, was that iffy?
Foul, no legal contact.
Even with ball in hand, it still requires quite a bit of accuracy or position-wise to get out this rack. Trying to go that direction where he has the cue ball now and go across the table off the long rail. I don't care for it. I think he's much better served to play. Oh, did we? Yeah, we do have the overhead. To go soft speed into here. If you get tied behind the 7, you get tied behind the 7. I think that's the better play. Where he's going, it looks like he's trying to, he now recognizes that's just too low percentage and too much scratch, too many obstacles. Just go right at the 7. And here's how you keep yourself from getting hooked on the 7. Try to get hooked on the 7.
Right. All right.
Oh, no, he went this way. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful shot. That was a narrow window that way, too. Even if it doesn't go, he can still protect himself by playing safe. It appears that it does go. He's going to spin it with left, try to arc it around there, throw it a little bit. Yeah, plenty of room. And look at the way this rack plays now, other than the 7 and 8. That will be the last positional problem.
Yeah, and he could always play the short side on the 7 and play it to the top right.
Mm-hmm.
The 6 ball is going to lead him there if he gets on the 5 right.
Got an angle on the 5. I think we'll just see him draw just straight down the table. He'll bend a little bit. I don't think he's going to a rail.
Maybe slightly. Just like so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he had a little more angle. Now, he didn't get down there very deep, so going short side all the way to the 7 in the long far corner won't be as easy. In fact, I don't think he should play that.
No, he's going to have to probably come 2 rails back to the middle of the table and play the combo.
And if you don't just get just right on that combo, that's a really tough combo. And this is a lot of travel to make sure that you get exactly right. So he's going with, it looks like he's going with inside. But there's no grab. Okay, he got past the 9. Boy, he fell on this good.
Yeah, he did.
That was
Nice shot
perfect
by
speed. Yeah. He made something happen with that shot. And that's the subtlety that the non-pool player wouldn't recognize. They think the cue ball just goes there. No, you had to spin the heck out of it on new slick cloth. Good speed. Good control on the secondary object ball.
Coming for the extension. I was just about to say he's got to be careful trying to draw that ball with that long of a bridge.
You could see his cue swish to the side, though, once again, and a shot that you don't figure him to miss.
But you could also scoop the ball with as long as his bridge was.
All right, Bergman gifted a game here. Trails in the match now 5-3.
I think it's safe to say that both players are struggling quite a bit right now, Mark.
Yeah, and it seems like the problems with the break kind of add to the difficulty of everything. Neither one's being very productive on the break. We've only seen one legitimate break throughout the set.
And all very tough layouts as well, not just so much,
Right. Yeah, with the exception of game 2 when Schmidt got ball in hand and cruised through there after trailing 1-0. All the rest of the layouts have required some pretty delicate position plays.
But what's crazy is that rack there was probably the toughest layout. John Schmidt solved it, got there, and then just failed to execute.
Yeah, the prettiest part was his position play with ball in hand, which normally is not that much to watch. This one was a really good one.
Yeah, just nudging the 4. We'll see what Bergman does here.
Playing the 1 on the side. The 5's the wing ball. The 5 didn't go. The 1 did. Compliant break. The 2 did. So he's got a compliant break and a pretty nice shot on the 3 here.
You notice what he did there, Mark, though. He went a little bit lower on the cue ball as opposed to this more spin. He used more low, which helped him to move the balls up table. more of the Sky Woodward attempt at the break shot instead of the outside. So much outside is more low and similar to a stun shot. Not a stun shot, but right in between a stun and a draw.
Mm-hmm. Big draw here. Is he going to the end rail? Yep. Oh, beautiful shot. Wow.
This is just the layout to get Justin going. We'll see. You know, like you said, the break has so much to do with your confidence. See if this can get him going and get him out of his funk a little bit.
Had to power up a little bit there to get this angle. Makes the rest of the rack play much easier if he can get to this easiest side of the 6 ball, which would be where he's standing now. Yeah. Now the rest of the rack plays pretty nice.
That's one of the most fascinating things about pool to me. You notice that a lot of very small players like Justin or Dennis Rakulio, they can get the balls that you wouldn't expect them to be able to get to with their stature because they're so flexible. Like that ball, I mean, that wasn't easy to reach.
No.
And to get that kind of stroke that he needed to get back up table.
You know, the most interesting thing is a lot of people would think, 9-foot table, tall player have an advantage. Well, the best players in the world are short.
Right.
And always have been. And I've always maintained that it's because the distance between their left hand and right hand is so much shorter, so they don't introduce as much wobble into the stroke.
Yeah, and, one of the other theories for me, like you said, that a shorter wingspan, but also they're closer to the table, so it's easier to get eye level and it's easier to get down on the ball.
Oh, yeah, you play a 10-hour session, little Jose Perica barely bends over. You
Right.
get, Mark Wilson.
Ruslan Chinhal.
Yeah, Ruslan, yeah, good point.
But, we're starting to see some pretty tall European players. Fedor Gorst, Ruslan.
Dennis Grob.
Yeah, Dennis Grob. Young Victor Zielinski, he's no short man.
Well, there's our first break and run out of the match. Goes to Bergman. He pulls within a game now. Trails in the match 5-4.
Can he duplicate it, though?
That was a little more up-tempo. That was a little more fun.
Right.
Made our job easier.
And he was breaking with his playing cue.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he may have his break cue in his hand this time.
Yeah.
Look, he finally gets a break and run, and he's going to switch. I don't understand that.
No. But I'll tell you this.
He's going back. He's going back. Now he's grabbing his playing cue. He must have hurt. Is he mic'd up? I tell you what, these are two of my favorite players off the table, though. Johnny and Justin, both great guys.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experiences in pool, and not all of them have been positive. But with these two gentlemen, I can honestly say they've never done me wrong in any interaction or any business situation. Both of these guys have always been stand up for me.
Legitimate guys. Absolutely. And that's why they're a couple of my favorites, too. 6 ball on the wing. Playing the 1 on the side. Just like Jason said, going a little bit lower on the cue ball, a little more spin. Did not find the range with the 1. The 7 ball hit. We have a compliant break. We don't have a shot on the 1, however.
But he's at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that he's one of the best tactical players out there. So where does he go here? These are the most interesting shots to me, Mark. Not the run outs. I mean, there's so many people that can run out, but what are the smartest players as far as moving the balls and extending the rack, like you said? What do they do?
Look at, he's going to put the 4 on the 9. And not the best. He could have got it in there a little better.
Does John go offensive here?
I think so. I think he's going to play the 1 right into the back of the 2. Nope. Safety. Oh, that's a good job there from that range. You know, when you think about Schmidt's assault on Willie Mosconi's record, and most everybody knows that John ran 626 balls recently, but over the last year, he has played so much straight pool, so much familiarity with all these little shots. How would your confidence not be great? Your focus has got to be great.
Plus, not only that, as a pool player, it's not always easy to have not only a positive month, but a positive year is even harder. There's not a lot of events like this. You have the Derby City Classic, now you have the U.S. Open and the International Open. But, we don't see a lot of world-class events, so it's hard to maintain a positive environment in your mind as a pool player in America.
You named the three big ones. After that, it's just regional stuff, and there's nothing dynamic. It's really a shame. But at least John's assault, it really kept his focus keen, and there's something to pool marathoning. When you play that pound that many hours, you just get looser and smoother. The bad thing is that John then went on a sabbatical and went on a hunting expedition to Wyoming for 2 months.
Right.
He was chasing bears. I told him yesterday, good Lord, when you face a tough shot after facing a bear, how could it possibly make you nervous? He's out there in the wilderness. Grizzly Adams there. Bergman now facing a jump shot.
Not always been Justin's specialty is this short cue. He's definitely more of a kicker. That's where I think a tall player has a big advantage in today's, game, is they have the ability to jack up much easier with those jump cues. Player of Bergman's stature, that's a very tough shot to elevate and get the cue ball to travel that far. Something John doesn't like about this. I think he's a little bit on the wrong angle.
Right. You can see he definitely is a little bit on the wrong angle. And then it's a matter of, do I play it with extreme low and kill it? Do I lightly bump the 4? He was able to control the cue ball. That's the better choice if you can avoid bumping the 4. Measures up the angle on the 5 that he wants. Hold it. And you see, conservative position play is what constitutes consistency, and that's why you see very little cue ball movement if these players have a choice. They're capable of moving it, but it also exposes them to so much more risk.
Cheated the pocket there nicely to avoid the cue ball going toward the side.
(6-4) is our score. Schmidt in front. Still a lot of pool to be played in this match. Both players are starting to get a little bit looser.
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed about Justin over the years is the early morning matches, he always struggles. He's definitely a slow starter. That's why he's more known for his money match play, I would say. I mean, obviously he's a great tournament player. He's had a lot of great finishes and, performed well at the Mosconi Cup, but, he's more of what we'd like to call a grinder.
Well, and pool players are notoriously vampires. And so 2 a.m., that's his time. That's
right.
Peak time. 8 a.m., not as a good time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always know if I'm going to call Justin Bergman, I don't call him before 4 p.m., And it's pretty unlikely that he answers then.
Yeah, exactly.
Call him at 2 a.m., he's for sure answering.
Yeah.
John breaking. 6-4.
One ball found the range. Cue ball got away. Two ball goes to the far end rail, bounces back up. Not much of a shot. We're not going to see offensive fireworks from here.
It was compliant, but I'm not sure you can say successful.
Yeah. Well, to make the one on the side, it seems like the cue ball's got to drift down table right now, and so that does not lend itself to finding the two ball very easily. Two balls mandated to be racked on the very back of the rack.
Seeing a push out here. This is interesting. I'm very surprised by that play. You could see the full two. Had an opportunity. I mean, what do you think he pushed here? What's he like, Mark? He's surely not getting it back, right?
No, because Justin can see it. Justin will play a safety here.
That's why I was confused by what John did there. You see the full ball, and he had a ton of blockers down here in the middle of the table.
But it wasn't easy to get him there, and I think he feels more confident playing and getting into a battle here, because this is not an easy safety for Justin either. He's going to use the shot clock extension.
I don't know if I'd be willing to bet the game that he won't get there, though, from here. Like you said, there's nothing easy, but this is his specialty.
Mm-hmm. It almost looks like Justin wants to just roll the two ball 2 feet forward to the end rail and try to introduce the six ball between the cue ball and the two. That's a pretty delicate hit. Now he's looking at maybe banking the two back down by the seven, bring the cue ball down table behind the six. Yeah, in this fashion. Recognizing he'd likely leave a shot, but a long, tough shot. And I approve. It just wasn't easy to do much there.
Right.
And just like you said, you don't want to give it back.
Just a hair harder, though, and he gets a snooker. He just gets that two ball a little bit past the nine.
Right. He wanted to make sure he got that cue ball down there on the end rail. So that took away that capacity.
Wow.
John was forced to play a long, tough shot from the end rail. He missed it, but doesn't look like the two passes the six. 6-4 is our score. Bergman behind.
He can play the combo here because the two ball will travel toward this, over toward the three ball.
Well, that's the problem. I don't think you're going to have to go super soft speed if you want to control the two ball for another shot. Justin's wanting to shoot here. I don't know. The percentage is not great. Very tough combo. Off-angle combo from some range. And not a certainty to get a shot unless you go super soft, in which case you're going to sell out if you miss. Now he went power. And he had a better angle, made both balls. Well, great call there, Jason. Good execution by Justin. Maybe with your coaching and his execution, you guys could do something.
I tell you what, did you see the walk that he just had when he made that ball?
Yeah.
I can always tell whenever he gets it. I call it his swag. When he gets walking around the table, pumping his arms with his cue.
Yeah.
I always know he's feeling good, and he's looked kind of down. I mean, obviously because of his play so far this match, but that was the first sign of the Justin Bergman confidence that I'm used to seeing, and yourself as well.
Great point.
And John, now you have John slouched in the seat a little bit. We'll see how it changes here. You always talk about the pivotal moment in the match.
Yeah, that combo might have been it.
Well, that push out from John. That push out from John, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it. I understand what you're saying, that he didn't really like getting the cue ball back up, but yeah, the combo for Justin, the push out for John, giving Justin the opportunity to challenge John with a tough shot. If Justin goes on to win this match, I would say that would probably end up being the turning point.
Here in rack 11, that combo was big. Then to back it up by running out.
See the face on Justin Bergman right now?
Yeah.
See the pump in his arms?
(6-5) Justin Bergman. Nice run out there, but trails in the match. Justin's dad here, sitting ringside, is Aunt Marcia. She's about the sweetest lady you ever met.
Yeah, Marcia. I love Marcia and Al.
She studies pool. She knows pool better than I do, or what's going on in various tournaments. Me and Justin laugh about that sometimes. But Aunt Marcia, she's calling up asking about obscure players we never even heard of.
Oh, yeah, she knows them all.
Yeah.
Great lady. And I think you have Ricky there in the center. He's always on the road, too, traveling. They call him Run Out Ricky. So we'll see. Justin keeps wanting to use the break cue. He walks back and switches back to the playing cue now. So we'll see. See if he can duplicate his one break and run of the match so far. And he did so with more low as opposed to outside. So we'll see. We'll see what he decides to do here.
Interesting look at the rack track. Schmidt won 4 in a row at one point after Bergman won the first game. Virtually traded games since then. The one in the side. Non-compliant, or did the 2 balls go in? Let's see,
Nope.
3, 6, 7. Yeah, 2 balls went in.
2 balls.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so he's okay. All happened so fast. Cross-side bank is all that Justin has if he wants to play offense. And the way these balls are laid, it almost forces him to play offense.
I remember Justin making this exact bank in a Mosconi Cup. So we'll see if he it looks like he might be going soft, trying to do something defensive here.
Oh, that was a nice hit to not let that 2 ball get away. This is not an easy combo for John. Even if you make it, the 2 ball wants to go across the table to the long rail, so getting position, and you hate to hammer this.
Yeah, I think we might see him do something defensive here.
Yeah.
Maybe try to take the cue ball and use the 6. I don't know. Real touchy here.
He might be able to thread the 2 ball behind the 8 and back down to the 7, let the cue ball run 2 cushions. Way down here behind the 9. Oh, played the combo. And this is the problem. See, you don't even get a position on the 2 here, even if you make it a lot of times.
Yeah, I think he changed his mind right before he got over the ball.
Great call. I think he was undecided. He hit that with a little bit of ambiguity. He was not defined, and his body portrayed that because he popped right up when he got done.
That being said, it's pretty fortunate what he's returned.
Mm-hmm.
What he left Justin with here, but I mean, I think Justin's gonna manage to get a nice snooker here. You see where he's trying to bring the cue ball.
Did not want to collide into the 6. It actually worked out favorably and perhaps even better than he'd planned.
Yeah, but he's not happy with it. That's a blow to his confidence right there. His cue ball didn't do anything like he wanted it to. What he was worried about is hitting that ball soft enough so the 2 didn't get over the corner, but he wanted the cue ball to travel far. It's tough to do on this slick equipment.
What a nice kick shot that was. 2 cushions.
No bargain here, though, Mark. Shooting away from the pocket.
Right. He might be back cutting the 3 and billiarding the 9 here. How do you come out of this? Pretty good.
Very nice shot by John Schmidt.
If he misses the 3, he has a chance to hit the 9 heavier, in which case he makes the 9, or possibly makes the 9, so he kind of took advantage of that. You also run the risk of not getting an ideal angle. He's a little flat, a little straight here. I don't know that he can play the 6 easily into the side pocket that it's nearest. No, he couldn't. Just had to cinch it. Now he's got a back cut to 6.
Natural to take him to the 7, though.
Well, with the exception of that 8 ball, plays big if you have to top spin it. And then so if you don't top spin it, then that means you have to do something with the cue ball. You want to make sure you get this ball down. He did, and he was able to use center ball and stun it around the 8.
Very nice shot by John.
Yeah, it was. That was like if it was a golfer, it might have been like a half of a 7-iron. One of those weird strokes you don't use that often and makes the shot imminently missable. But when it goes well, it looks like it automatically goes there, but it did not want to.
A couple very nice shots by John in that rack.
Justin played a good safety, and John made a great 2-reel kick, pocketed the ball. And then, like you said, had to make some good decisions and some real good execution to support that. Schmidt now playing at 8:59, Bergman 7:45.
But in this scenario with these two players, the way they're breaking the balls, John has to win 4 to Bergman 6. I mean, we have a lot of pool left.
Mm-hmm.
John's over here explaining to Bergman how he got lucky whenever he ran into the 9 ball, but I mean he was forced to when he shot the 3 and ran into the top of the 9. He was telling Justin he got fortunate, but sometimes a 9 ball pool you have to shoot to get a little fortunate. Sometimes you have to take a risk. And
right. Yeah, selecting the right times to gamble. You can't just go for everything. So. Anyway, we got some pretty experienced players here that recognize when this little iffy circumstances occur. Our match now, Schmidt leading 7 games to 5 and breaking. One of the only tournaments we play with still the winner break format. There is a break box in effect. 1 ball didn't go in, but the 5 ball did. Looks like we have a compliant break, but we have a lot of distance between the cue ball and the 2 ball with some obstruction. This is push-out time.
This is a tough spot to push out, too, because the 1 ball's so close. I mean, where do you give him an edge? You give him an edge of the 1 ball here, but where?
I might just lightly bump the 2 up on the 9. No, he's not going that way. He's going over here. Well, that puts some pressure on Justin to kick in behind there and try to use the 8 ball as a blocker.
I'm giving that back if I'm Justin. Yeah, with the slick cloth, it's tough to
right.
Kick and stick here, especially because the 1 ball is a little bit of a distance from the rail, making it a little bit trickier.
I think John should play this very soft and try to hit it thin so that the 1 ball goes over behind the 8 and maybe use the pink 4 ball to slow the cue ball travel down. Just what he tried to do. That was well executed and very conservative and great shot, artistically played. Six and 7 lay on the long rail over here. That will not be easy to deal with.
Yeah, and I think we'll see Justin kick the long rail here and try to slide the cue ball up toward the 3 maybe.
Mm-hmm. This will be a little bit of right-hand English. You're not trying to hit heavy. I would think you want to hit thin on the 1 like you're sending it almost towards the side pocket. Oh, he went heavy. And this couldn't hardly turn out any better.
Wow. Perfect cue
right.
ball. If you're Justin, you have to be very happy with your safety play thus far. Outside of the one last rack where he lost his cue ball, I mean, he still got safe, but
right.
Other than that, he's executed very nicely on most safety shots.
Well, he's definitely won that portion of the game as John's forced into kicking error.
Foul, no legal contact. Long hand.
Still some work to do here, though, Mark. I guess the 6-7 combo is not that bad, but he may be looking right here to, when he pockets the 2 ball, to run into the 7 or the 6. to open up the pocket. I think that's what he was looking at, possibly.
Right. Yeah, off the 2 is the time to do it because you get the 3 as an insurance ball. You don't have to hit it hard. If you can just even lightly remove the 6 from the rail,
That's exactly what he's looking at.
help yourself quite a bit.
Just got to be careful not to hit the top side of the 6 here.
Right. Even if, no matter what, it's got to be so soft that you for sure have the 3. Yeah. That's all you could do.
He's not in love with it, but the combo's sitting pretty nice, Mark. I think he'll handle it.
Yeah, you could decide to attack those 2 balls on the rail with the cue ball here, but I don't think he's well served to do so. And he did. He tried to go after it. And he can still protect himself here. Now, can he go 1 cushion in between the 7 and 6 from here? Or maybe 2 cushions?
Yeah, I think he's got the angle, or he's almost forced to now. He's looking at the 9, so he's going to come 2, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think he's got too thin of an angle maybe to just go 1 rail across. No, he could go 1 rail across. Oh, there it is.
Look at his speed.
What a shot.
Perfect speed. That's what I said. His speed control's been great the whole match. It's just his ball pocketing.
That was a big shot right there. Because it makes this rack real manageable. If he has to play that combo, if you don't get perfect on that combo, it is really treacherous to play.
Tell you what, he's happy he nudged the 6 off the rail just a little bit.
Right.
With the 2.
Well, it hasn't been the very best played match that we'll see all week. It's certainly been an entertaining match to see because there's been a lot of little nuances come up.
Yeah, a lot of safety battles. But you know what? I tell you what, when you watch Justin Bergman play, that's the kind of matches that he leads.
Mm-hmm.
He wants those. And I think a lot of his break power kind of lends itself to creating that.
Both players, very interesting cue grips as he falls right on the 50-yard line here. But both of them super light on their cue. When you see a lot of guys that play with kind of a heavy hand on there. Boy, this will make your heart flutter when you have to shoot these, especially when you're down 2 games.
He's a big favorite to pocket the ball, though.
The reassuring part is you're not going to win a match if you don't make this ball anyway. So you just go ahead and play it. He drains it in the center. 7-6 is that score. Bergman trailing but breaking.
But you notice the smile. Nothing's easy from both players. Even when they are getting there and they're executing it, nothing is easy for them right now.
That was a nice run out, though.
Yeah, very nice. But I will say this. He mapped it out in his head, and I don't think it went that way from the start to finish. I don't think there was one shot that went exactly the way he wanted. He envisioned using the 2 and getting the 6 out more. Didn't get there. Went for it again. Missed it. Got the wrong angle on the 4. But he managed. That's the most important thing, is being able to adjust, like you said, and on this slick equipment. Day one, you have to be able to adjust and change from where you're used to shooting.
Justin's great. John leading 7-6.
Rack 14 about to begin. Trying to range in on the 1 ball on the side. A little high. Cue ball got kissed. Non-compliant break.
Non-compliant, John, your choice.
But I don't think that's going to have any bearing on this. John's going to shoot.
Yeah, the interesting shot here will be the 4 to the 5, how he decides to play it. Obviously, the combo's not that tough, but I'm sure he doesn't want to shoot it.
I think John can go after the 5-ball right here. Pretty risk-free because it's super tough why you said the combo's not that tough. If you're not perfect on line for it, and it's not easy to get perfect on line for it from the 4, I think it's worth the gamble here to try to dislodge the 5 slightly. Nope, he didn't. He's going to preserve the right angle.
He's got the perfect angle to just come right back across for the combo.
Got to have good speed, though.
Oh, this is tough. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's a mid-range shot, and you got to stick the speed in there just perfect. Looks like he hit it pretty good.
Doesn't want to get on the rail, though.
Right. Yeah, he's not happy about that. He knows this is going to be really awkward. And because he's on the rail, he can't do as much with the cue ball, and it's not an easy safety from here.
This is exactly what you were alluding to, though, whenever he chose not to go after it with the 3-ball when he could have.
I think that might have been the time to gamble, because now he's got to gamble. If he makes the ball, it's not a certainty you're getting a good shot. So it's a tough shot. He's jacked up. This is where he tends to get a little quick transition from backswing to foreswing. He did a great job with that. Whew.
I'm shocked as you are.
He says, I'm shocked as you are, Bergman. John, he's a funny dude. I'm as shocked as you are.
That was very nice control, though.
Mm-hmm.
Jacked up, long distance. Still not out of the woods, though.
Oh, you can't have a letdown here. Glides that one in there smoothly. There's nothing flinchy about that. Cruise the cue ball up there now, where it plays pretty nice. Okay. Just a little ease on in there, ball speed. 2 cushion position to the top of the 9. Perfect angle, nice route, great speed control. Nope, big run out there for the Schmidt camp.
Best combination of
He says the hardest combination I ever made.
But you know what, though? That straight pull, you have to shoot a lot of combination shots. And,
Yep.
there's usually 3 or 4 good testers in each rack that you have to solve. And most of the time, they come in the form of combination.
I'm telling you, putting that many hours in, and it just gets you so familiar, so comfortable. Mike Massey used to talk to me about pool marathoning, and he would say that he would do a charity exhibition where people would pledge a penny a ball over 24 hours time, and he would take a 5-minute break per hour. And he said you would shoot so many tough shots that when he was done, he was super sore. He would actually limp out of the pool room. And he said he would go home and sleep, and he would sleep like 12 hours and get up and eat something and sleep another 4 hours. But he said, then when I went back to the pool room, you cannot believe how free my stroke, when I face a tough shot, he said, Mark, the next day I would just whiz them in from all over the table because I shot thousands of them the day before, So, and I think that kind of is what that straight pull did for John. It really helped get him, engaged here.
Yeah, his ball pocketing is much better than it has been in the years past. And I think the 2-ball kept the 5 from being compliant.
It went in and out.
They're saying the 7 went in and came out?
I'm not sure what they said.
We might need a replay on that one, Mark.
I am not sure. The 1 went in, and I don't know.
I just don't know if the 7 went in and came back out, but I know the 2-ball kicked the 5, keeping it from coming in above the line.
Right.
Ken, one of the best in the business, though. He was right on top of it. So
Yeah, and I think Justin would lodge a protest, at least a slight amount. I don't think Justin would be a negative person, hostile, but I think he would have said something that he didn't feel like it was legit. So John had to push out. Nice shot there. Oh, this is real ugly. This is real ugly. Even if you hit it, no, you're actually going to hurt yourself hitting it here. You know what I mean? Because you're going to open stuff up.
Yeah, but the rack's open enough. You can't not go for it.
Right, right. This was that was a good safety. Yeah. Now, once again, Justin's tactical side of the game has earned him an opportunity here. I don't know if the 6 ball goes by the 9 or not.
I think it does.
And if it doesn't, right now, with ball in hand, you can play the 2 back into the side pocket where his cue tip is over right now and open them pretty comfortably without any risk.
Yeah, the 3 laying there and then the 4, no movement needed.
Right. So here, if you're going to do this, you want to billiard the 9 as opposed to the 6.
That way you don't get hooked behind the 9.
Right, right. You got to protect yourself, even if you don't get the right shot. Just don't get hooked. No. Well, he was able to comfortably handle that, so maybe he had a little better angle than I thought. Because now everything's wide open. Now, and this is all brought on by that good tactical play by Justin Bergman. He used a little bit of inside spin on the cue ball, too, to get it lodged in behind the 5, where it didn't allow John to use a great deal of pace when he went after the 2. It took away some of the tools that John would have to possibly escape a safety.
You know, and for me, Mark, that's one of the things I look at in a player is, can they win when they're not at their best? And, you know, for a player like Justin, I mean, I'm sure he realizes that he's not pocketing balls to the best of his ability today, but so, you know, he's taking care of those tactical battles and he's doing what he needs to do to still pull out and grab some racks.
We always talk about being able to win with less than your A game. Can you win with your B game or your C game? And that's where the great players like Efren Reyes and like that, they win a lot of matches when they didn't even come close to having their best game. And when they have their best game, you can't touch them.
Right.
Yeah, he kind of rubbed the top of the 7 there.
He was trying to just use the 7 to stop the cue ball, and I think he got a little bit more draw on it than anticipated.
Yeah, I think we're truly seeing some of that first match of the tournament jitters here, uncertainty.
We'll see if he gets at the 50-yard line here again.
I bet he's mindful of that. He wants to get all the way across. Pretty nice speed here that filters in there for a virtual certainty here. Pull himself back within 1 game. Bergman now trailing 7 games to 8.
Tell you what, Mark, we don't call everything right, but we did call this right. It's going to be a tough battle here. It's going to be a close match.
Yeah, it's a gunfight for sure.
Justin has his Pepsi nearby anytime he's playing. Looks like he went back to his Lakewood shaft.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said Lakewood, is that, or Keel? Or
Keelwood, that's what it is. Keelwood,
okay, yeah.
I still think when he was playing his best pool, he was using that old OB shaft.
Mm-hmm. I
Real
used
thin.
to pick up his cue really thin, and I'd pick it up, and my God, it was bruised and dented, and I'm like, what in the heck? I mean, like, you get splinters on this. I see what you're doing. You pull it back 3 clicks, and then you know how hard you're hitting. You know? I mean, well, my shaft is polished and slick. His is the most crude thing. Now, breaking off his fingertips. This is interesting. Changing it up altogether here. Not the recommended play. Once again, the cue ball filters away. The 1 ball, it's going to be a compliant break. Is he going to hit? No?
No, he didn't pocket anything.
Oh, the 1 ball came down table, I see.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, though, Mark. You know, most before the carbon fibers have really taken off, most of your professional pool players don't like to slick their shaft up because then they can feel when they get a dent in it or something, so they just let it get bruised and dented.
Oh, boy. Look at that shot.
Wow.
Rail first. What a shot. What a shot does he? Yeah, he does have this is awkward, though.
You know what? He's netted every one of these this match, though. Every one of these tough back cuts. I guess he has to shoot these a lot for break balls playing
Yeah.
straight pool, so.
That's a big shot here in the match for Schmidt, no doubt about it.
Is he going to use the 7 ball to try to kill the cue, or?
Oh, drained it. Look at that
What a shot.
Oh, boy. That is a crippling blow that's been outlawed in many states.
Yeah, but he's still not out of the woods. He's going to have a long, nice tester on the 5 ball here, too. He doesn't have much angle on the 4. I mean, he's going to be able to move it up a little bit, but.
It's so much easier when you have to play for the 5 tough as opposed to randomly getting on the 5 tough psychologically. So after that last shot now, that's really going to go a long ways to helping John to win this match. He pounded it. Boy, that was a good hit.
Yeah, but a little short.
Well, I mean, he did everything he could do.
Right.
You see it's still spinning. You can't try to force something more. So.
I'm surprised he didn't just try to punch up here by the long rail, though, and just because if he shot the 5 to the other corner, it led naturally to the 6.
Now he's got to dig down on the cue ball, try to two-cushion the cue ball, but you got to go super slow spin, extreme draw, soft speed, and extreme side spin to control the cue ball for the 6. That makes a tough shot 3 times tougher. Now it looks like he's just going to play safe. Yep. That's a pretty good job.
I'm no hero.
I'm no hero, he says.
Yeah. Justin might as well have grabbed his jump cue because I don't imagine he's going to do anything but that. He'd like to kick at it, but he realizes that it's hard to get separation if he kicks at it because the cue ball would be coming off the end rail back towards the 5, and then both balls trail down table.
Yeah, and this is Justin's 3rd attempt with the jump cue. Both of his other attempts so far have been unsuccessful, so there's not a whole lot he can do here, Mark.
No.
Like you said, I mean, just separation of the balls is the only reason he's even using it.
See, if you try to be cute and play the 5 ball position, it's too tough. I think sometimes you're better off to hit heavy on the 5 and just blast it into the object balls and hope they get tough. 20% of the time, you're going to leave it super tough. Just like that. Yeah, just take it. And now he's going to get himself back to the table. Probably not better. I think John's going to go ahead and put the cue ball up on the 7 and 8. But he got through that inning and didn't sell out the game, so that made it a good shot from where he was at. Yeah. Justin played it perfectly with the jump cue, but did not receive any reprieve here. And this is that 2 rail kick that's real awkward.
Yeah, in space. And
we got the overhead. I'll show you. He's coming here, and this one's not near as bad as if you have to go long rail, end rail. It's hard to get separation here too. Because to control the cue ball, you got to go kind of soft speed. Jacked up.
No
Twirling
traffic.
the nugget. Yeah.
No traffic down there to hide behind.
Yeah. He tried to use a little more pace. And he missed it by a good bit.
No legal contact.
One thing about Justin's game, he kicks very, very well. But on new cloth, not so much. Mm-hmm. Whenever he's on a table that's broken in, you can almost just guarantee a 2 rail kick like that's a hanger for him.
Right. And he missed it by quite a bit.
Yeah. But like you said, just a smidge there, you can miss the ball by a full diamond.
Well, that was a pretty good rack by John Schmidt there. And that was kind of a lot of different things happened in that rack. Schmidt now leads by 2, 9-7.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Justin from here.
John's decision to play safe when he followed it up, "I'm no hero," was a prudent decision and served him well. He didn't win from that exact shot, but he forced Justin to make a jump shot and be exposed to risk, and then Justin left John a killer safety, which Justin then did give up ball in hand from, and that was the turning point in that rack.
Yeah, and John's a great sportsman too. Did you see that? He went over. He's talking to Justin, keeping it friendly.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to do. That's tough to do, Mark. You know, you travel all the way across the country from what do you say? He was hunting in Wyoming. Flights aren't cheap. Hotels are expensive, and
then be a good guy on top of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what will take our sport and move it to the next level. All right. That was a compliant break. That's what happens when you don't make balls on the break. The games become quite tactical and it elongates the match.
Pretty tough spot for Justin here as well.
Right. Looks like he's trying to play a combination on the 4 by going rail first here with the 1. Or is he playing it with the cue ball? I would think the cue ball. No, the 1.
Wow.
Good shot. Wow, what a shot.
Yeah, I think he was worried about the cue ball because then the 1 would attract in behind the 8. He handled that very nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Comes up with an angle that leads him down to the 2. Yeah, I don't think he wanted to be below that ball, Mark. I think he wanted to be above it. Well, you have to play the 3 in the side.
Yeah, it's tricky from here because it's not so thick on the 2 that you can just go 2 cushions for the 3 in the side easily.
Is he going to try to use the 8 maybe?
I think he's just following and trying to go between the 3 and the 8, or the 5 and the 8 with the cue ball. No, going around. Oh, that's a great shot.
Wow, very nice.
Wow, that helped matters out quite a bit.
Excellent speed control.
It's a tough layout, but that did help quite a bit.
I don't think Justin's going to be allowed to have any more errors from here if he wants to be victorious.
Right. We always say John is on the hill to be on the hill, and that's a big game right there. It puts max pressure on your opponent.
He's kept an angle on the 5. He's going to have to play the 6 in the same side here, which is okay. Tough to tell. He may be able to go in the corner here. I don't think he will, though.
Big miss there. Open ball. Needed to get out for sure.
Yeah, I think he was looking for more natural angle so he didn't have to force the cue ball anywhere there, and then that's what really caused the miss. Looking like John's going to get to the hill first.
This is that break shot angle, right?
He likes it.
He's going with left English.
That's how he usually shoots it, I guess. See, right through the lines.
Even at that, you can see a little sideward motion with the cue as it comes through. 10-7's our score. That was a big rack for the Schmidt camp. Justin did everything right until he missed the ball on the side. And that's really the story of the match, is just too many missed balls for Bergman in this match.
Yeah, he hasn't really missed shape a whole lot. It's just, failure to pocket crucial balls, leaving John a lot of 3 and 4 ball outs.
To John's credit, he's made a lot of big shots and some good decisions in this match.
Yeah, and you always talk about the pivotal part of the match, that combo that John made when he was froze to the long rail and he had the distance between the 5-6. That was a huge rack for John, confidence-wise and score.
Here we see the Q-Tech total performance averages here. 61 balls pocketed for Bergman, 86 balls pocketed for Schmidt. That's all you have to tell me. The greater number wins 90% or plus. Cue ball once away and gets down table. I'm not used to seeing that happen a lot with pro players. Even with the cut break, they usually try to keep that cue ball more towards the center.
That tells me he's not using much low on the cue ball. Justin comes straight to the short cue here.
Justin's hit everything with the jump cue, but he's failed to connect with the pocket on any of these.
And I'm pretty sure he's lost every time he's used it, every rack. Might get away with this one though, Mark.
Yeah, temporarily, John brought the short cue up with him. Take a little square hit, and if John connects on this, he will have a decent shot on the 2. Not an easy shot, but a decent shot. John did not sell out here. It's like Justin can go put the 1 ball down by the pink 4 and put the cue ball on the 7. Or does he have a pocket? He might go. No, down on the 7.
Yeah, but he didn't get him frozen to that 7 ball, so it gives John a few options there, I believe. Looks like he might be able to.
Pretty tricky.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky, but if he's frozen to that 7, it'd been almost impossible.
But from that range, it's hard to freeze it, and he's going to have to warp this open with a little bit of left English. So now you got to use judgment. John's slightly elevating, almost as if he's going 2 cushions. Well, he went 2 cushions, but he didn't hit the ball. So again, Bergman's safety play comes through. It looks like he's got a 1-9 combo that's free because he can play the little angle to use the 4 to hide it. Now, sometimes it's better to not be cute and play the cue ball. and just make sure you get this down. That looks like what he's doing. He's just playing just naked. No, he used the 4. Yeah, and this is the problem. A lot of times you can sell out a kick that will lose you the game, even though it's not the ideal shot for John, but he didn't lose. He's still at the table. If he hits it right here, there's a chance to score the 9. As soon as you start to, oh, he's just going to take a foul. Okay.
Good, John. Foul, illegal contact, ball in hand.
That 4 ball got up there and made it pretty ugly, too.
If Justin doesn't want to fool with the combination, it looks like he can play the 1 all the way in the far corner. Or maybe even in the side. Yep.
Yeah, I think the key here is make sure you don't jack yourself up on something. Get past the 5 ball. Or even better, just go all the way forward for the 2 on the side.
Pretty open layout here.
He's looking at right now where he wants to get on the 6. That 9 ball's in his way a little bit to float above the 7, so.
Right.
He's going to play the 6 in the same corner as the 5, I'm assuming.
Looks like he's queuing a little too low for my liking. I'd rather he be high so it comes up there on top. Well, good speed. Yep. It's easy to stun that cue ball a little bit when they're close to the object ball. If you're just down just this much from the very top of the ball, sometimes you can, and then it comes up way short and a little off angle. You got to deal with the 9.
You know, this is where we've seen Justin falter, though. This whole entire match is right here on unexpected shots, missing that, you know, he normally wouldn't miss it, or you wouldn't see any top pro miss.
Right, right. He did quite a bit with that because he did have to, in fact, billiard the 9 ball there.
Looks like we're going to get to see another rack at least here.
And that's Bergman's 8th win in the match. Trails in the match 8 games to 10.
So the break box is just a little bit bigger this year than last year, correct? I think it's just maybe an inch bigger. I like how they just drew the line, just one single line for the break box.
Well, Justin would love to generate some offense from the break rather than have to gunfight every rack, which is, he's did well given that circumstance. And the deciding factor is that he's missed some balls after he won the opportunity to shoot. But you don't want to constantly gunfight with another great player. You want to get a couple games where they don't have much say in it. Up on his fingertips once again. That's a good look. See if the cue ball gets down below. It didn't. Much better. And that's what I'm used to seeing, where the cue ball's more out in the center.
He has something offensive here. It's just whether or not he wants to go for it. That's the one thing that I always emphasize to my players. And, when you're playing 9-ball, you watch any world-class player, they're ultra aggressive in spots most of the time. I mean, it's not saying if a dead safety's laying, they don't take it, but the majority of the time they err on the side of shooting. But that's definitely not Justin's style. He's definitely won the shot most racks.
Look what a good safety this is from moving both balls from long range, awkward angle. It's very hard for John to defend himself. He can hit it, but there's not much he can do with it after he hits it. Well, he played that pretty well. Look at, he caught the right side of the one ball to get separation. Bergman can hit it, but not much offensive here, so he's got to consider the best route to get safe.
He's going to try to take the cue ball back to the same spot, I believe.
He's so flat on it, though. He's so straight on it that it's hard to, you almost got to run double kiss issues there if you try to go 2 cushions in behind the 8.
And you have the 5-ball there that could stop the 1.
Mm-hmm. See the double kiss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was a problem. I think he should have banked the 1 back towards the 4 and just use speed. Just make sure you get the 1. Well, you can't make sure, but try to make sure you get the 1 past the side pocket, because that 4 gums up that whole corner pocket if it doesn't go all the way down there. And there was a lot of clutter he could have used. That it wasn't a certainty, but I think the better percentage play was there.
Yeah, he opted to use a slow spin.
Little short on the backswing, a little quick on the transition there. That was one of those testy shots. That was a game, our match winner if he connects.
John disgusted in his chair.
Disappointed for sure, because he knows that even though he has a couple game lead, that's not much of a lead with a great player that can come undone and just run out the set at any point. You get a little straight there. Jason looks like, it looks like he's thinking about going forward and playing the 3 in the far corner pocket.
Yeah, I think he's fine. He's okay with that.
If you draw here, it's real problematic, and especially if you have just a hint the wrong angle, which it appears that he does, but he is looking at drawing.
I think the smart play for him here is just to follow it up and take a longer cut on the 3.
If it's laying that way, I think he's got a little too much angle on that. I'm not sure that the play is easy to get over behind the 4. And that would be the reason he would take this route, would draw and spin. He didn't get there.
I think he forgot to use the outside English.
Well, the 7 was a problem. And so, I don't know if he forgot. I don't know if maybe he was just trying to cinch it and make sure that he didn't get himself hooked or miss the ball. And now we're going to see another tactical exchange. rub the 3, back to the center, get the cue ball down the end rail, and try to minimize what John can do to retaliate. He can only hit the one side of the 3, the high side.
Can you go with the 4 here?
Yeah, I mean, not to play the 4, but to use the 4 to slow the cue ball down possibly, or get behind it. John would like to just bank the 3 off the end rail up to the other side of the 9. I don't think he's going to be able to get it all the way down table. Yeah, the speed. That was all he had.
Yeah, it was well done.
Now, it looks like Justin can hit the edge of the 3 here.
And go back to the 4 ball.
Well, you're not getting much distance on the 3. You hate to do that because if you don't get dead behind the 4, you can leave the 3 sticking out. He'd prefer to make sure he gets the 3 all the way to the end rail. Nope, he was able to thin it. Yeah, that's not going to serve him very well because now John's got the upper hand in the ball arrangement. He gets first crack. John can even shoot in the corner if he wants to.
I think that's what we'll see him do, is go at the 3 ball here.
Doesn't appear. It looks like he's playing safe, yeah. Okay, well, Justin can see the edge of it, but John has the advantage here in terms of the distribution of the balls. Justin's going to have to make a good shot. This is almost like that naked safety where you just got to just barely tick the 3 and you can miss the entire 3 doing this. Yeah. Wow. Justin knows that was pretty fortunate. An inch or 2 either way, doom. And that was the result of John's great shot. Justin made a great shot to return. John exposed him to take an awful lot of risk to get here.
This is tough because the cue ball's such in the middle of the table here.
Super tough. Hit the 7. That's a foul.
You know, Justin's very, very fortunate to be in this match, Mark. If he cleans this up and can see an offensive play after the break.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's safe to say whoever loses this match is going to have a few shots that they can point to that cost it. The great thing about this match so far, Mark, you usually when you see high-level pool playing 9 ball, it's very predictable. This match has been everything but predictable.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's been entertaining for sure.
Not the most clean, but a lot of tactical battles. A few missed balls.
We're going to announce the next matches on these 6 tables. On table number 3, Lou Che, his opponent, Mr. Dennis Arturo. On table number 4, Ernesto Dominguez and his opponent,
Good shot.
Cole King Chunk. On table number 5, Rafael Debreo and his opponent, Larry Flager. And on table number 6, Alex Pagulayan and his opponent, Mr. Michael Yetta. Players, you may begin your match.
Did go 2 cushions. I thought maybe it was a little straight for that, but he was able to get it. It's certainly not a gimme.
I think he could have got a little better. He just wanted to make sure he didn't introduce the side pocket.
Fires at home. Bergman 9, Schmidt 10.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark, it'd be great for the very first match of the week to end in a hill.
Yeah, well, we're headed there. Look at our TPA there. Both players just over 800. There's a look at the rack track.
A lot of back and forth there outside of the beginning. 5 racks. It's been a lot of back and forth.
And you know, you're used to, at this juncture of the match, usually having 3 or 4 break and run outs. I would say on average here today, we only have 1 break and run out so far. And that was by Justin Bergman. He wouldn't mind another one right here. See if he breaks off his fingertips again. Just don't see that very often.
I think he's doing it, like you said, to try to keep that cue ball.
Look at this. Look at this. Most interesting. Now, Ken's going to try. This is delicate here. This is where the referee gets nervous.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Justin just said, "Just let me shoot this, Ken. Go on back to your seat for this one."
Oh boy. Yeah, Justin's afraid he'll monkey it up and not have as good a combination as he has now. I'll just tough it out here. Look at that, 10-10. So a break and run out.
Center of the pocket there.
Yep.
And, you know, Bergman was lucky he made 2 balls on that break because he didn't get another one past the line. So it would have been illegal, or not illegal, non-compliant. But since he pocketed 2 balls, it was a legal break.
Here we are. Hill. Both fighters are bleeding at this point.
They give each other 5s, good sportsmanship.
Yeah.
2 class acts here.
What a time to get a 1-9 combo off the break, right? Finally.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final rack of the match. How about a hand for
The referee, Ken Schumann, has everyone notified that this is the final rack of the match.
So what percentage does the breaker win, Mark?
Well, they break and run out 30% at the pro level. But the actual total stats on that, I'm not sure.
2 balls down.
Oh, boy.
Compliant break.
And look at this shot on the 2. Cue ball got down here. The 2 ball been going down table all match. And now here it is right next to the cue ball, 8 inches apart. This offers some control for Justin, but a narrow window to go between the 9 ball and the 4 ball to get on the 3. So he may choose a different route. Yeah, he recognizes that.
He's just going to try to draw in between them and take a little bit tougher shot on the 3, you think? Or
I don't know if he can go forward. If he could go forward. If not, I don't know if we can get the overhead, but if he can, if he has to go this way, he might choose to go all the way down and back up, because even if you run into something over here, a lot of times you come out with a shot. If he can go forward, I think that's what he'd much rather do. It does look like he does have the capacity to get to here.
Well, if he can go forward, the rack plays pretty straightforward for him. Every ball has a pocket.
I like the fact that he took his time and used this extension here to make sure you know what you want to do. Yeah, good job. So he had so much angle he couldn't go to the rail as I drew, but he still got the cue ball in the same place. Most times you like to go one rail for that position if you have the option because it gives you much greater control.
This is the shot of the rack right here, Mark. Sink this one, and you're a huge favorite to take it down hill.
Stayed pretty still. I love that about Justin's game. He even on the pressure balls, you'll see, even after he hits the ball, you can count 1,001, 1,002, head still in place.
I'll tell you what, if you want to learn how to play pool, Justin Bergman's a great person to pull up on YouTube and do it. I think he's one of the most underrated bar table 8-ball players on the planet. Plays the game perfect.
You know, sometimes I joke around about people that, virtually played pool when they're in the womb. But Justin was that because his dad was playing pool at that time. And it's almost like through osmosis, he just came out and started playing good.
Yeah, he's just a pool player.
Yep.
So he has a big window here. Just make sure you don't come up short.
Just 2 cushions to the center of the table is all he'd like. Forgot to use a little side spin, so it's a little longer range, but he made sure he got that 6-ball down. Now he's falling just a little flat on this.
He could always just play it in the side, but we'll see.
Hmm. 50-yard line. He's going to make a big shot. And he had to go forward. You introduced some left English, and that took a ton of pace out of the cue ball there. Yeah, I knew he fell a little flat on that 7-ball. Now he's going to make a real good shot.
Yeah, he could have stayed under the 8 there, though, Mark. Just gone to the end rail and then just barely came up. He could have had the corner or the side that way. But he's got to bring it here.
Watching his head here, another one of those shots. You need to stay super still. He did so. Heart of the pocket. This could be a nice, classy break and run out here to close out the match. This would be the 3rd game that he won from the break, and the last 2 he won from the break without John coming to the table. So Bergman moves on in the winner's bracket. He, by virtue of this win, 11-10, rallied from behind. We're going to have a short interview here. Looks like Rahan is in the play arena. This is the Simonis Aramuth Arena here in Norfolk, Virginia, at the Sheraton Waterside.
Well, I know that made everything.
Yeah, naturally, the disappointment for whoever loses this match. I like them both, so I wish they both could win.
Yeah, a couple tough breaks for both players, unforced errors, and then, from John's perspective, he gets to stand there and watch a 1-9 combo go down to make it hill. That's gut-wrenching.
All right, well, this has been an Accu-Stats video production, known as the worldwide leader in billiard broadcasting. That's our time for this time. Thank you, Jason. Until next time, so long.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ra Hanna, live from the Simonis Aramuth Arena with one of my favorite players, Justin Bergman, or I like to call him Iceberg. Justin, how you doing?
Good. Lucky. Feeling lucky.
I was going to say, listen, man, you've been a little bit MIA, missing from the scene. Mosconi Cup, everybody's screaming for you. What's going on?
I just haven't been playing. I'm going to start getting back into it real soon. Just taking a break. Yeah.
So have you been practicing? What have you been doing to get back?
I've not been practicing at all. I hit balls for a couple days before I came here, but it shows.
Yeah, it did show. You're a little uncharacteristically missing balls that you really don't miss. What you going to do to rectify that in the next round?
Go to the pool room. All day. Play somebody.
No, you're not.
I'm trying tonight. I need to get in stroke. That was horrible. John outplayed me. I got lucky. I shouldn't have won that match.
But the thing to your to the betterment of you, you stayed in the match. You stayed connected. You made balls even when you missed balls. You looked a little funny, but you recovered well.
Yeah. You can't ever give up because anything can happen, you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first, live from the Accu-Stats Arena. Ra Hanna with Justin Bergman, the Iceberg. We shall return.
Introducing Lucasi Hybrid, a whole new level of performance and technology. A cue with the revolutionary X-Shocks dampening system, eliminating vibration. G5 grip technology for enhanced traction and stability results in maximum cue control. Total sweet spot construction means unmatched power. And the Zero Flex Point ferrule provides dead-on accuracy, giving you the confidence you need in every shot. Lucasi Hybrid, the only cue that matters.
Introducing the patented Simonis X1 chalk dust removal tool. In order to keep billiard cloth playing like new, it needs efficient cleaning. With that in mind, Simonis devised and developed a totally innovative accessory, the Simonis X1. Now, you don't need a brush that pushes chalk dust around the table or into the weave, or a vacuum that can stretch and damage cloth if used improperly. The Simonis X1 quickly and quietly extracts chalk dust from the cloth and retains chalk particles in this revolutionary high-tech structure. How? The Simonis X1 works using static electricity and capillary action. Apply light pressure and use a rapid back and forth motion instead of the exaggerated pressure which is needed with a brush. The X1 gets the job done quickly, quietly, and efficiently. After cleaning the table and cushions, you can use the Simonis X1 to delicately brush the playing surface in parallel lines in order to give the cloth a well-kept and groomed appearance. The high-tech textile structure of the Simonis X1 possesses a high absorption capacity and can easily retain the dust of half a cube of chalk. That's a lot of chalk. Cleaning the Simonis X1 is easy. You can release the dust absorbed by the high-tech textile structure to restore its initial effectiveness. To do this, you can vacuum the face of the Simonis X1 or simply beat or slap the underside of the Simonis X1 with your hand to release the dust. It's as simple as that. Thank you. We hope you enjoy the revolutionary new Simonis X1.